Hello everybody! Today I want to talk about how to create a sustainable minimalist wardrobe on a budget or with just not spending that much money for your wardrobe. If you're new here, my name is Leah. I'm uploading videos twice a week about minimalism. If you're interested in this topic, consider subscribing to my channel. And now let's get started. I still suggest starting by decluttering, like I would suggest for every minimalist wardrobe. And when you start that, of course, keep in mind if you're on a budget that maybe don't be that ruthless or do not declutter things that you are actually going to wear and that you actually need. But just, of course, get always rid of the things that you don't like and don't have to wear. For me, a rule that I apply to my wardrobe is that I just keep 1 week's worth of clothes, because I wash about once a week and I really don't mind wearing the same things every week, because that's just the most minimal it gets. And of course I have some seasonal pieces because I live in Germany where we have 4 seasons. So I do have winter items I do not wear during summer, and I do have some summer pieces I do not wear during winter. But apart from these few items, I wear my pieces regularly. And apart from that, now I want to talk about the number of pieces you want to keep, the kind of pieces you want to keep, how you bring new items into your wardrobe, and how to care for your items to have the best sustainable minimalist wardrobe you could possibly have. Now, for the number of items, it's really just up to you. I have an extreme minimalist wardrobe which contains, depending on how you count it, between 15 and 25 pieces. And I will link you a video up here where I show all of my clothing items. And so if you're interested, you can check that out. But I think it's perfectly fine to have 70 pieces if that is what works for you, or even more. This video is of course targeted towards people that want to have a minimalist sustainable wardrobe, but of course whatever that means to you is good for you, and I will not tell you the number of pieces that you are allowed to have or the kind of pieces that you are allowed to have. Now, for the kind of pieces you have in your wardrobe, I do highly suggest that you have versatile pieces that you can wear in a lot of different occasions, so that you do not have to have a specific items for every possible occasion. If you have one nice dress that hopefully really works for weddings and nice evenings, and maybe also it's comfortable so you can wear it at home if you want to feel fancy. And so I think you should go with every piece you have. Make it as versatile as possible. And that really decreases the number of items you need to keep in your wardrobe to be prepared for almost every occasion. I also think that you do not have to be prepared for 100% of occasions that could come up in your life, because then you maybe need 300 items, and it's not really realistic that all of these situations come up regularly. And if it's really something that happens every few years only and you're not even sure when it is going to happen the next time, maybe it's okay to not have that piece, at least if you would have to buy it, and to just see whenever you will need it, and just to see if you can borrow it, if you can rent it, if you can buy it secondhand and sell it afterwards. Again, whatever works for you in the situation that you are actually going to need that piece. Also, I suggest that you look at the colors your wardrobe has and make sure that they all go with each other. One tip I have here is to make sure that all of the bottoms have a few different colors and all of the tops have other colors, so you can match them, and whatever bottom you choose is always going to look good with whatever top you choose. Because if you, for example, have a lot of stripes and floral prints and things like that, maybe it's good to have them only on tops or only on bottoms. Then you can't accidentally have another very wild piece which would maybe not look good together. But again, it's totally up to you. You can mix and match your pieces however you want, and I don't think that are rules on what looks good. It's just whatever you feel comfortable in. So having versatile pieces and not having pieces for every occasion specifically decreases the number and makes it possible to have a good wardrobe, to feel confident, comfortable, and to have something to wear every day without having more than 30 pieces. So that really saves a lot of money already, and it makes it minimalist and sustainable at the same time, because the things you have in your wardrobe are in use and you're not wasting resources, and you are actually wearing them until they cannot be worn. Because if you actually have 500 items, I don't really think you can wear all of them until they fall apart. Which brings us to buying new pieces or bringing new pieces into your wardrobe. If you want to save money, if it's just that what you want, then of course you can buy cheap things and also buy things secondhand. This is gonna save you the most money. Or clothing swaps is also for free. Usually you can have new pieces for free, and that is of course the best thing to do if you want to save money. If you want to be sustainable at the same time, clothing swaps and buying secondhand works as well. But if you buy new pieces, then of course it usually costs a lot more money. Now, for my wardrobe, I usually buy things secondhand because I think that's just the most sustainable choice. Plus, it's saving me a lot of money. But sometimes it's not possible. And even though I like the hunt and I like waiting for pieces, I like looking over and over again to see if I can find the piece, it really doesn't matter to me if I have to wait a few months until I have the piece I'm dreaming of. I also think that's a good thing, because if you want a piece and you buy it right away, you don't really think about that decision, and sometimes you don't actually need or want that thing, and you realize that 1 week after the decision to buy it and your purchase, and then it's already too late. So if you give it a few weeks or even a month, you will think about it more and figure out if it's actually something you want to have. Even when I buy things secondhand or pick them up at a clothing swap, I really make sure that they are made out of natural materials and that they are good quality if possible. So I will always look that I don't have mixed fabrics if possible, and no like polyester pieces, just because they shed microplastics. I don't want to have them on my skin. I don't want to have them in my wardrobe. I don't want to have them in my laundry. Of course, I do still have pieces that have polyester in them, like my bralettes, for example, which I talk about in the video where I declutter my underwear. I will link it up here as well. So that's just what works for me, and I haven't figured out another solution. So I do think that you shouldn't be too hard on yourself. It's okay to have a few pieces that are made out of like synthetic materials. Also, for example, my rain jacket or my bikini are not made out of natural materials, and I think that's okay. But if I pick up new items, I try to make sure that they are as natural as possible. So not only when I buy new things, I make sure that I make the most sustainable decision possible, but also when I pick up secondhand items or items at a clothing swap. When it comes to buying new things, there are a lot of sustainable and ethical like brands out there, and of course you can just buy from them whatever you need, but I think it's worth taking a closer look. There is a huge price range also when it comes to sustainable brands, and more expensive is not always more sustainable. But on the other hand, it is true that if you go for the cheapest sustainable brands, oftentimes they are not as sustainable as they claim. So I think it really makes sense to take a close look at the brand you are buying from. And even though underwear can cost as much as 15 euros or 35 euros a piece, maybe it's still the best choice, because you get quality items that are made under conditions that are good for the planet and humans that are making them. I can really recommend My Green Closet, which is a YouTube channel that I really like, which I will link up here as well. Check it out. There are a lot of resources on sustainable brands from all over the world, and how to spot greenwashing, how to decide what kind of garments you want to buy from different sustainable brands. I get it that if you want to have your wardrobe on a budget, usually you wouldn't buy new sustainable garments, and that is what I do as well. Most of the time I just buy secondhand, but I do, for example, buy underwear from sustainable and ethical brands. Especially with underwear, I think things that I have so close to my body, I really want them to be free of harmful chemicals and harmful dyes and just anything unnatural which makes my skin irritated or which is just not good for me. as well as, of course, I really want to only support fashion brands that are ethically producing, because I think it's the only fair thing. It's the only thing that we should do. So I get it that is a lot more expensive than buying from cheap discounters or wherever you get your clothes from otherwise, but I think it's worth it. So I do have to say, since I've been shopping sustainably, I have spent less money on clothing items just because I have a minimalist wardrobe. I then just shop a lot more consciously, which is a huge part of sustainable living in general as well. It doesn't really help if you shop sustainably if you still buy 1,000 items per year. That's not really sustainable. And of course, always when you buy things, really make sure that it's pieces that you are actually going to wear, that it is pieces that are versatile, that fit your color scheme, that are durable materials, or that are just things you are going to love, you are getting a lot of use out of, which is sustainable, which fits in your minimalist wardrobe, and which will save you money because you don't have to buy other things quickly because you can wear that item a lot of times. Now, when it comes to caring for the items that you have in your wardrobe, it is super easy. Fix your items in your wardrobe if you want to save money, because if it's possible to fix them, of course you can wear them for longer, and if you can wear them for longer, you don't have to buy new things. I get it, sometimes it's annoying, sometimes you can't do it yourself, but a lot of times it actually makes sense to give it to somebody who can do it professionally, because, for example, resoling shoes doesn't cost that much money. I still have to do that for my sandals, which is talked about in the comments of a few of my videos where I talked about how my sandals have no soles anymore, but a lot of people recommended that I resole them, and I think that's a really, really good idea, which I really have to do, but summer hasn't really come around here, so it's good. I have to do that soon so that I can wear my sandals again this summer. But also for all of the other things, fixing small holes or even upcycling pieces that are not what you really want to have in your wardrobe. I have, for example, altered a sweater that I had and that I really didn't like anymore, and now I love it again. And that's another video I can link you up here. I just cropped it. I took away the pocket in the front of the sweater and made it shorter, and now I like it better. It took me 2 hours or something like that, just because I don't have a sewing machine anymore, but I think it was a fun little project, and now I didn't have to spend any money and I have a almost new piece of clothing. Another thing is making your own clothes, or really upcycling, changing them, because, for example, this sweater I made myself out of wool I found at my mother's place in the basement. And I've done that with a lot of different items as well, and maybe not everybody can make their own sweaters, but there are a few things that are pretty easy, and there are a lot of YouTube tutorials on how to change garments, how to sew garments, and so I think considering changing, making, fixing items can really save a lot of money, can customize the items so that they are the perfect items for your wardrobe that you have dreamed about and couldn't find anywhere, and it really just is a very sustainable thing as well. So all of these things really go together very well. Having a small wardrobe is sustainable and is usually already saving money because it's smaller. Buying sustainable clothing items is expensive, so usually you don't buy as many, which is sustainable and saves you money, and they are usually good quality, which makes them last a lot longer, again saves you money, and you don't have to buy that many new pieces. And if you are on a budget, you don't just spend a whole lot of money on clothing items because that's maybe not your priority. So these things, I think, work great together, and I really hope you have a wardrobe that you are happy with, that doesn't cost you too much money, that is good to the world, good for yourself, and fulfills your minimalist dreams, if that is something you want to have. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to see more of my videos, click right here. I've linked you a video and another playlist about my sustainable minimalist wardrobe, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!